Today what we're going to be covering is a great topic, something that is very near and dear to my heart personally. We're going to cover the 3 secrets to algorithmic trading, or in other words, we're going to talk about how to make money trading without making expensive emotional mistakes. I'm sure we could all relate to that as traders. So are you guys ready to get started? All right, so before we get started, so a few little things. First of all, I just want to make sure that we know who this is for. So basically, what we've designed this for is for 2 different types of people. You're either a trader or an investor who's never coded before in your life. You have some experience trading. Maybe you've been doing this for a little bit. But essentially, we're going to give you a clear path on how to learn how to code if that's what you want to do, which you don't necessarily have to. Learn how to very quickly get started with building trading algorithms, right? So you don't so we'll take you from being able to trade to adding on that extra skill of being able to run a trading algorithm, right? This is also for people who are experienced programmers. If that's you, if you do have a lot of programming experience, if you've been trading for some time and you want to put the 2 together, this is for you as well. We'll teach you how to basically apply your skills to finance and how to access dozens of advanced strategies and basically a thriving community of people that are building algorithms. We have a very big group of people that are constantly working on this stuff, and it's a great community actually. Before we get started though, would you guys like to save some money? Who here would like to save some money? Okay, see some nodding there. So if you stay until the end, I'm going to give you guys a coupon code for for some of our plans. So make sure you stick around to the end. We're going to give you a nice coupon code that you'll be able to use for our products down the line, right? Okay, so here's our agenda for today. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share these slides with you guys. So let me get this link here. I'm going to put this into the chat. So in the Zoom chat, you'll see the link to the slides. All right, so you guys can follow along. If you want to click on things or look into things, you can do that. And feel free to follow along with the slides. Next, I'm going to get to know you guys a little bit. You guys are stars of the show. So I'm going to get to know you guys, who's on the call. Then I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. Then we're going to talk about the investing secrets. We're going to talk about the 3 secrets that I have ready for you guys. I think you guys are going to find some good value in this. Then we'll talk about some case studies of people that have gone through our programs. And we'll talk about our all access plan, how you guys can get involved in that. All right. Okay, great. So first of all, let's get to know you guys. This is, I think, the most important part of this right now, or at least for me it is. So here I'm going to take these 3 questions and I'm going to put them into the Zoom chat so you guys have them available there. But feel free to type these out, right? You just type in, what is your occupation? What do you guys do for a living? Do you know how to code? Do you know how to program? And how much investment experience do you guys have? All right, so if you could type that into the chat, that way I can get to know you and we could tailor this presentation to you. I can speak more towards you guys because that's, the important thing, right? So I'll let you guys type that in. And while you're typing that in, I'll tell you a little bit about myself, right? So here's my background, right? So I do have programming experience personally. I've been coding for over 25 years. It's been a very long time that I've been coding. I was one of those kids that started when he was 12 years old. It's been a long time since then. I also have a master's of finance. So I do have that academic background. And I've also worked for over 10 years now, working in financial technology and on Wall Street. So I worked at a bunch of different Wall Street companies, built out a couple of really interesting things. So some examples of them, I helped create a mortgage app, basically built the whole team, and we built this whole thing that's processed over $50 billion in mortgages. That's 50 with a B, right? That's at a company called Greystone. If you're interested, we did commercial mortgages, and I worked directly with the CEO. Then we also, after that, I went to go join a company called Voyager, which you may have heard of. It was a cryptocurrency broker. You could go on your phone and actually buy crypto, that sort of thing. Basically, when I joined the company, it was I was employee number 4. was very early stage. And we basically built that company up from nothing all the way up until being worth about $3 billion. So I helped hire all the people. We helped basically architect this whole thing. And it ended up being a brokerage, something like Coinbase. After I left, things didn't go so well with them. That things blew up during the whole FTX fiasco. But I was still able to make quite a bit of money on my stock options. So still very happy about that one. I'm also managing a few $1 million in investments right now, between myself, family, and that sort of thing. So doing quite well in terms of all that. But I wasn't always like this. Years ago in 2008, I blew up my entire investment portfolio. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I wasn't very good at risk management, all that sort of thing. And I was really relying on others for advice. I didn't really learn how to back test and how to analyze investments back then. So that's kind of where I came from and was able to build this all out. But before we move on to the next thing, you guys wrote out some things in the chat here. So perfect, awesome. I'm gonna read out what you guys wrote here. So Antonio says, I'm Antonio Luna. I'm an engineer, a little experience. Okay. So do you mean little experience in trading or do you mean little experience in coding, Antonio? Either way, we can help you out. Gerald says, unemployed, no programming experience, no investment experience. Okay, Gerald, so it sounds like you're pretty green to all of this. I think you could get a lot of value out of seeing basically what our algorithms do and learn about essentially kind of getting started off on the right foot, right? Steve says, engineer learning Pine script to program TradingView, 4 years trading manually. That sounds great, Steve. I'm wondering if you're running into the roadblocks yet with TradingView. Pine script on TradingView can be useful, but it has a lot of limitations. That's why, personally, all of our algorithms we build are in Python. It's a lot more, you can build a lot more types of algorithms, work with a lot more brokers, different types of things like options trading and all that is possible. So I wonder if you're hitting those limitations yet with TradingView. Every time that I see people working with a language that's so specialized for something, it always gives me pause because, in a customized language like that can only go so far, right? So I'd be interested to see what you think about Python and see all the possibilities they could do using Python. Ollie says, retired HVAC mechanic. Welcome, Ollie. Fantastic. Terry McKay says, project coordinator, no programming experience, 2 years investing experience. This sounds good, Terry. As I mentioned before, you don't really need programming experience to do this stuff. We've made these things very, very easy that you don't really need to be a programmer to get our algorithms running. We've made it really, really simple to get that going. I'm glad they have that experience, that investment experience as well. Ernie says, retired, no experience. Do you mean no experience trading, Ernie, or do you mean no experience coding? Abi says, I'm a software architect with 20 years experience. I have 10 years investment experience. Very cool. Welcome, Abi. How's it going? Antonio says, little experience in trading, only crypto. Okay, Antonio, that sounds great. There's a lot of things they could do outside of crypto. I feel like a lot of people, when they first get started, they go into crypto. There's a lot of other ways to make money other than crypto. And in fact, crypto is actually very, very risky. So there's a lot of other things you could do, options trading, stock trading, that sort of thing. I'll show you a couple of things that we've been working on, and I'd love to see what your thoughts on are. Lorenzo says, Lorenzo working in real estate, 5 years, little experience investing. Sounds great, Lorenzo. So sounds like you're brand new to this. Again, hopefully we can get you started off on the right foot, going through things in a more programmatic fashion like this. Steve says, very simple for me yet. So no roadblocks. I'm interested in developing EAs. What do you mean by EAs, Steve? EAs, I don't know what that would stand for. But yeah, so it sounds like you're probably building some stuff with like only using prices to trade. I'll show you a couple of algorithms that we've been working on that are a lot more sophisticated than simply looking at the price hit here and then the hit here. Like I feel like a lot of people when they first start trading, that's what they start doing, looking at Bollinger Bands or looking at EMAs or things like that. There's actually a lot easier ways to make money than that. It's actually known that trading off of price action is one of the hardest things to do. So I'll show you a couple of algorithms that we've built, and I think you'll kind of get some interest out of that. Um, so Steve says expert advisors to trade, do auto trade in MetaTrader 4 and 5. Okay, makes sense. Sounds good, Steve. Gerald says, Gerald Davids, ATM operations, no programming experience, 3 months crypto trading experience. Hey, sounds great. Awesome. Welcome, Gerald. Again, you don't really need to be a coder to do any of this stuff. I'm going to be showing you guys some things that we did using code, but essentially, we've made it so easy that you don't really need to be coding anymore. You could actually just use the things that we've already built. So sounds like a lot of you guys. So we have a few coders here. Most of you guys don't know how to code. So again, I just want to accentuate that. You do not need to go through this program and learn how to code and all that. If you do, if you want to, we have a lot of options available for that. But if you don't know how to code and have no desire to do it, you can actually still build a lot of things because we've already built it for you. So sounds great. Cool. Okay. So do you guys want to hear the secrets? This is what this class is all about. It's the 3 secrets to algo trading. So you guys want to hear the secrets? Yes. Perfect. Yes. Okay, awesome. Okay. So let's start off with secret number 1. So secret number 1 is back testing. Now, if you guys have never heard of back testing before, it is a very important thing to do and has definitely changed my life in terms of my investment experience. So let me tell you a little story. Yeah. So here's basically why back testing matters so much to me and why this is such an important thing. So I told you earlier, it was 2008. Basically, I blew up my life savings, right? I saved up something like $30,000. Spent quite a bit of time and, well, not a ton of time, but definitely put in quite a bit of effort to save up $30,000 at that point in time, right? Now, when I was going through this, I kind of knew a little bit about investing, but I made some very, very bad decisions in retrospect, right? Which maybe you guys might be doing right now as well, right? So for me, obviously losing that 30 grand was terrible, but it gave me the fire that I needed to really get started, right? To get very good at this stuff. So what I did is I applied to a Master's of Finance program at a school called Schulich. It's like an Ivy League school in Canada, if you guys have never heard of it. Basically, like one of the top business schools in the country. I actually was able to get in, which is amazing. Worked quite hard to get in there. And then when I got into this program, the Masters of Finance program, what I learned just like blew my mind, right? These professors, they had a very different way of approaching investments. They're very calculating. They're looking at everything using math, historical data. They did a lot of risk management. We looked at like value in companies and just totally changed my perspective on investing, right? And when I was in that program, I spent, hours every single night. Every night I was, and this was outside of schoolwork, I was basically sitting down with a giant Excel spreadsheet, just trying to figure out, what the heck went wrong in 2008 and how I could have changed that. So what I did was I took basically 10 years of price information for the S&P 500. You could get that from Yahoo Finance, for example. And I put it into an Excel spreadsheet and I did a bunch of stuff. I was like, okay, well, if I had put in $10,000 or $30,000 here, and then I put some leverage in, and then I bought it when it fell. Like, I think a lot of people when you first get into it, you try to do a lot of that price action stuff, right? Like, okay, if the stock market falls by 5%, then should I leverage? And what would have happened in that situation? And if it's going up, should I put more money in? And I tried doing all these different configurations and trying to figure out, what would have changed the outcome and how would this have happened? And in this industry, we call this back testing, right? So it's essentially, without knowing it, doing a lot of back testing and basically seeing, what would have happened historically with all the things I was doing, right? So essentially, when I was going through all that, it started to become really obvious why I blew up my portfolio in 2008. It became very, very obvious because I was using too much leverage. I was buying, not diversifying very well. There's like certain things that like I really got to understand. And it was like, wow, this makes a lot of sense. So what I did is I took all those things I learned and applied it, right? And not only did I apply it to my own money, but around that time, what happened was, unfortunate, my father passed away around that time in my life. Um, so it was definitely a difficult time. But basically, what happened was all of my family's money was basically put into my hands, right? It was, who here knows how to actually run an investment portfolio? I had just finished my master's in finance. I said, you know what, let me take care of this. So I took all that stuff that I learned, doing all this back testing, all the things I learned in class, and applied it to our portfolio. Now, fast forward a couple of years, and my mom is now officially a multimillionaire. Right, I've helped her get to the point where she's able to basically travel, do whatever the heck she wants. She spends her entire summers in Poland. She just spends time there. She's buying a house now in Poland for her sister. She's telling me the other day she wanted to go travel to Mexico with one of her friends, and one of her friends didn't really save up that much money. So she said, you know what, I'll pay for her ticket. It's no problem, right? She's like, she basically just doesn't care anymore, right? Like she has enough money definitely for the rest of her life and retirement and all that, right? Not to mention for generations to come. I'm having a baby soon too, so we'll have even money for this baby down the line from all this investments that we did back in the day, right? So not only was I able to do this for my mother and her portfolio, but also I was able to help out my sister, my wife's portfolio as well. Something like we made more money in 2 years than she did like the previous 10 investing. It was crazy. And all I did was just use kind of general sort of things to do this. And then me personally, my investment portfolio has been doing very well, and I personally own a $4 million company, so life is good. Can't complain about that, right? But I could take everything that happened over these years and I could attribute it back to this back testing, right? The reason why we're able to get such good results is because we went back in time. I went back in time and said, what if I did this over the past 10 years and I was able to really figure out what's going to happen in the future, right? Just because we had results in the past doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen in the future, but there's a very good chance of that, right? And it's the best thing that I know how to do. So it's kind of like having a ball in some ways. So back testing, if you guys are not doing it, I very strongly recommend that you guys back test your strategies. It's crazy how often I hear from people, they watch these YouTube videos and they say, oh yeah, you got to buy here and sell there and do this and that. And it's like, this guy is giving you terrible advice and you don't know it because he's just saying, oh yeah, this is good and whatever. If you actually took his trades and back tested it, you'd realize very quickly that they're talking nonsense, right? So using this back testing technique is extremely valuable, right? And Gerald says, yep, I just lost 40K. So you know exactly what I mean, Gerald, I bet you if we took a look at the things that you were doing in this investing, we could probably find some pretty common threads, right? My guess is you probably were using leverage a lot, right? And you're probably not hedging your risks very well. You weren't doing some good risk management procedures. And if we went through and we back tested everything, we could very easily identify, what exactly was happening there and what would be a better solution going forward, right? So that's secret number one, back testing. If you guys are not doing that, I very strongly suggest that you guys start back testing your strategies and don't just assume that someone telling you on the internet is a good thing, right? There's a lot of garbage out there, right? Okay. Yes, yes, and yes. Definitely agree, Gerald. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right. Secret number two. Okay, so secret number two. Secret number two to algo trading is use existing code and collaborate with others. Now, a lot of people when they get started with algo trading and when they get started in this field, they'll basically start building things from scratch, right? They'll go in there and they'll be like, okay, well, I got to start doing this and I'll build this. And they spend a lot of time doing these things when there's a lot of code out there, right? There's already a lot of people have done these things already, right? So for example, in our business, we have something like 100 different algorithms that you could get already right out of the box, right? So instead of building that stuff from scratch, you could just take the things that we have and get going that way, right? So let me tell you a story about this one, right? So here's a story of one of our students. His name is Worth. Yeah. And he came to us something like 5 months ago. And basically, he had and still has a bunch of trading strategies that he uses manually to make money. Right. So he's been doing a bunch of different things. One of them is this thing where he does shorting this asset called UVXY. Right. So if you want to look it up, UVXY looks something like this. Now, when you look at it today, it was actually up a lot, which is crazy. But that's not normally the case. Normally, this asset just tends to go straight down, right? If you look at this graph, it went from all the way from like $20 million and goes all the way down to being worth like $7 or something, right? So I might ask, why the heck would you want to invest in something like this? Well, what he does is he shorts it, right? So when it's going down, he's making money on the way down. Now, as you can imagine, if you're shorting something like this, if it's falling that quickly and you're making money on the way down, you're going to make a decent amount of money on the way down, right? So he gave us this idea, and he joined basically one of our classes. We have this thing called Live Algo Hour every Tuesday, and he joined this class and said, you know what, can we build this strategy, right? It's a great class that we have every Tuesday. You join in and you can basically say, oh yeah, there's this algorithm I want to build. Let's build it out. So we did that for him, right? We started building a strategy, and I was a little skeptical at first. I was like, I don't know, shorting this thing, what's going to happen, blah, blah. But when we built it, we were able to back test it, right? We're able to see, is this a good idea or not, right? Very realistically, right? Is it a good idea to short this thing? Ends up, it was a really good idea to short this thing. When we back tested it, we got some really, really good results. I'll show you those results on the next page. But essentially, it was something like almost doubling your money every year, which is incredible, right? There's very, very few investments that I know of that could do anything like that, right? So, and this is like consistently doubling your money every year, right? When we back tested this thing. So that was really cool. We thought that was amazing. So we basically built this thing out. I gave Worth the code, and he's actually been using this now to trade, and he's been making quite a bit of money doing this, right? It basically sends him these notifications, and he goes in and he's able to actually trade this thing automatically, right? But now that's really cool, right? He has a strategy. We built it for him. We checked it. We made sure that's a good idea. And then we gave it to him to actually be able to use. Now, what's even cooler is that everyone in the group gets to participate in that, right? So it's not just built for him, it's available to everybody else as well, right? So it's not just he gets to run this thing. We actually were able to give this to a few other people, and they're also able to run it as well. So in other words, we're able to do this as a team. We're able to work together on this at the same time. So what Worth gets out of it is he's able to have this algorithm built for him. And then what everyone else gets out of it is they get to see a good strategy and they get to use his stuff as well. So we're all able to collaborate together, right? It's kind of like that Fast and the Furious saying, like family, It's like we're basically that. We're like a family of people working on building algorithms together, right? So basically now we have a ton of strategies, right? We've been doing this for months, and we have this long list of different strategies that we built out, and all these things that, we tried this and it didn't work. We tried this and it works really well. We tried this and it didn't work, and we're just constantly tweaking and improving this. So if you were to join in, you could actually become a part of that and get all these strategies that we've been working on, and we can help you actually build a lot of these things out. Right? So essentially, the strategies that we have in this class, they're the best of the best from everyone, right? We're all collaborating on this, and as a group together, we're able to create some very, very cool stuff, right? So let me show you a couple of those things that we built, right? So here is a back test of that algorithm I was telling you about with Worth. Yeah. What this does is it uses Bollinger Bands to check where the price of UVXY is, and then we'll sell it when it hits the upper Bollinger Band and buy it when it hits sell it when it hits the upper Bollinger Band, and then exits the trade when it hits the lower Bollinger Band, because we don't want to own this thing at all. We want to be constantly shorting this thing, right? So when we back tested this strategy, we ran it from 2021 January up until about the end of 2023. We can update this a little bit, similar results. So this is over a 3-year time period. In 3 years, this thing went up 708%. Okay, that's the cumulative return. Over 3 years, it made 708% return in total. That's compared to the stock market that only did 20% over the same time period. Yeah. You can see that even on the graph here, right? So here's the graph of the strategy in blue, how it performed over these past few years, right? Or what the back test is. And then you can see in the yellow is the S&P 500 or the stock market, how it performed. So you could see basically this thing is just dwarfing it, just absolutely annihilating the stock market, right? Making 72% a year on average, or about 708%. So 8 times your money after a 3-year time period. When we backtest, we also get a bunch of other stuff too. You see we have all these other ratios here for those of you that care to look at this stuff. We have a Sharpe ratio, which we see is quite high compared to the stock market. We're seeing it like significantly higher than the stock market's Sharpe ratio. We see that is a little bit more risky when we look at our max drawdown. It is at some point in time, this thing did fall 50%, which is probably around here. But that's compared to the stock market around 25%. So it is a little bit riskier, but you do end up having this giant return at the end of the day, where it did end up having this giant return. See, so I would say that risk was definitely paid off quite well. Right? Antonio says, I like what I'm seeing. Thanks for this, bro. Yeah, no problem. No problem, Antonio. I'll show you a few more here. So this is one of them. This is one that we made during our Tuesday class. Here's another algorithm that we built. This one we also built during class. I think it was during our Tuesday class or another one of our classes, where essentially what we want to do is we want to copy what banks do, right? So I don't know if you guys have ever gone to a bank and looked at something called a market-linked GIC. Yeah. Now, I was very curious about this because I was doing this for my mother because she needed some cash short term but didn't want to risk it. So, but we still wanted to get her a good return. So what a market linked GIC does, it is essentially guarantees you some amount of money. And then if the stock market does really well, you get like a bonus, right? You get like a kicker, right? So we want to kind of emulate that. So when we started working on this, we came up with this idea, stock leverage with calls, or we call it like a rolling call option. Or essentially what we would do is we put 90, in this case, 96% of our money into a safe asset, like an ETF that barely moves at all, right? That just pays interest. It's kind of like a savings account, not exactly a savings account, not that safe, but very similar, right? It's like it barely moves and just pays you a dividend every single month, right? So very, very stable, okay? We put 96% of our money into that. And then we took 4% and we put into a call option every single month. Now, if you guys don't know what a call option is, it's essentially a stock option, right? If you guys do options trading, it's a stock option that allows you to bet when stocks go up, right? So we put 4% of our money into that, okay? And when we ran this, we saw a really nice result. Okay? This is quite good. You can see here in yellow is the stock market, in blue is our strategy. And you can see that they're pretty close, except we are actually taking on a lot less risk, right? So over this time period, this is from 2020 January until the end of 23, so about 4 years. And we did about 90% in total, whereas the stock market did about 77%. So it's nice. So we beat the stock market, not by a ton, but we beat the stock market. But what's more impressive is that we got a much lower max drawdown. We had less risk. We took on less risk in order to get a better return in the stock market. That's fantastic, right? Now, for example, for me, I'm thinking this is good for someone like my mother who's retiring or is retired, right? It makes sense for someone like her because this is a lower risk way for her to get involved in the stock market, right? However, we're like, you know what? Not everyone wants that, right? Some people want to take on a bit more risk. Maybe you're younger, maybe you have a higher tolerance for risk. Maybe, this is money that you don't care about as much and you're willing to take a risk with it, right? So like, okay, what if we, instead of did 4%, what if we did 6%? So we changed it to 6% and we back tested it again, right? We said, okay, what do we get out of that? And we got quite a nice result. What we did was we got 134% return, so more than double our money over this time period. And that's, again, the stock market did the same, with 77% over the same time period. So we did about double what the stock market did over this time period. or in other words, about 18% a year versus 12% a year for the stock market. So we beat it by a nice margin, right? But what's important is when we beat it, when we looked at our risk metrics, they were about the same as the stock market. So we were able to get double the return of the stock market while taking on about the same amount of risk. Now this is interesting, right? Now this is looking like something that, maybe we could even turn it, like we've actually been looking at starting a hedge fund. This makes sense for like a hedge fund type thing, right? Because we could put some money into this, and it's the same sort of returns as the stock market. Actually, sorry, the same sort of risks, right? But you're getting a way higher return. It's fantastic, right? A lot of people would actually love this sort of thing. We could even turn this into a hedge fund. We could sell this as an ETF. This makes a lot of sense, right? We said, you know what? Okay, what about if we did, instead of 6%, what about if we did 8%? We tested that too, right? So we did 8%, we back tested it, and we got this incredible result, right? We're seeing here that this thing did 429% return over this time period. So over 4 years, did more than 5x the returns, right? So if you put in 10K, this thing would have brought back about 50 within 4 years, which is incredible, right? So huge return here. You can see it's about 40% a year. That's gigantic returns. And still, we didn't get this crazy drawdown. It was now much higher. Now, when we looked at our drawdown, we did have a higher drawdown. So this does involve more risk. But if it's something that's involved in a larger portfolio, and if we're able to diversify this in a different way, this can be a very, very good way to make money, right? So this was quite an interesting revelation. So we're able to find this out, and I'm actually running this algorithm right now live. And so far, we're making quite nice money off of this, right? I'm going to put, actually, we just created this brand new thing where we're able to run this stuff. I'm going to put my own cash into this personally, right? And what's incredible about this is not just the return figures that we get, it's the fact that we're able to customize this, right? So for example, it depends on what your risk tolerance might be. Like, for example, for me, I wouldn't want to take this much risk. I'd probably take something like a between the 6 and the 8. I'd maybe take like a 7, right? For me, that would be like a good thing to do with, long-term money. And I can have a pretty good idea of, how this is going to turn out. What can I expect from this, right? It's a very nice way of doing this. And this means we can back test it, and we're able to try all these different things, right? And again, this strategy, if you guys join our full program, you can actually get the code to this, and you can actually run this yourselves. You can have this up and running by tonight if you wanted to. Okay, cool. Let's show you another one. So another strategy that we made during our Tuesday class, and we've been exploring a lot of stuff around this, has been our Congress trading class, or sorry, our Congress trading strategy. So what we did was we basically had the idea where people like Nancy Pelosi, or people like, and by the way, I don't know if you're realizing this, Steve, but a lot of this stuff you can't do in TradingView, right? None of this stuff is possible in TradingView, right? Which is why we use Python, right? Because we were able to do options trading, we're able to do all these more advanced things that actually have a much higher probability of making money. So here, for example, we're using Congress trading, which has data that we're not looking at prices, right? We're looking at different things. What we had the idea where, it's all over the news. We're basically saying, Nancy Pelosi is making all this money, right? She's investing, like, how is someone who makes 100 grand a year worth like $40 million, right? Like, you got to think, how the heck did she do that? Well, she actually has a lot of insider information. If you think about it, people that are members of Congress, they're actually even more than just insiders. They're people that can influence laws, right? So not only do they know what's coming around the pike, right? So they will know what new products Microsoft is going to be releasing. They know what new products Apple is going to be doing, right? They know that kind of stuff. They have insider information. But on top of that, they also can influence laws to change how things work. They could change, laws for EVs. They could make Tesla do better, or they can make Tesla do worse. They actually have control over that. So what we did was we built an algorithm where basically we're copying members of Congress. We looked and said, okay, we built this algorithm that basically says, look back over the past 48 days, so about 2 months, right? We're able to optimize this, by the way. We're able to really pick and say, okay, what is the right amount of time and what is all that? And we said, okay, over 48 days, it was optimal period of time. How many people bought a certain stock, right? Um, we'll take a tally. So for example, you can go to a website like this, Congress Trading, right? There's a bunch of websites out there. So here's, for example, this website, Capital Trades. You go into here, and you see what are all the most recent trades by these Congress members. You can see here that this guy Blake Moore sold Alibaba stock. He also sold Google, he sold Amazon. So he sold a bunch of stuff here, right? So we can see that one member of Congress is doing that, right? I don't know if you guys know who that is. He's from Utah. He's a Republican from Utah, right? And he also bought some other stuff here. He bought Vanguard Growth, right? Let's see what else. Yeah, he bought some treasury bills. He bought kind of basic stuff. Then we can see another person here. We can see Jared Moskowitz, which is a Democrat from Florida. He bought Alphabet stock twice, right? And then he also bought Analog Devices Inc. That's interesting. Why would he buy something like that? What is analog? It's such a small stock. Why would he buy that? Right? What is special about this company? What does he know that we don't know? Right? This is a member of Congress. He's passing laws. He knows things that you don't know. Why is he buying the stock? Maybe this is a good thing to invest in. Right? So that's essentially what this algorithm does, right? Is it basically copies these members of Congress and trades according to what they do, right? So here's the results when we back test it. We got a very nice result here. You can see in the blue is our strategy. This is what it ended up doing. And then in yellow is S&P 500. And you could see here, what's very interesting about this is first of all, the numbers are really good. This thing, you would have doubled your money in about 2 years following this strategy, which is quite impressive, double your money that quickly, right? But what's more important is that it did this during a bear market when the entire stock market is down. You can see here the yellow line was heading down. It was down for an entire year. This was still making money. This strategy was still up despite the entire stock market being down. How about that, right? We could see here that this thing absolutely annihilated the stock market, did like 10 times the return of the stock market, 90% versus about 9%. But it also did that while taking on less risk, right? The max drawdown was only 23% versus the stock market's about 24, 25%, right? So we took on less risk, we made 10 times more money, and we're even making money when the stock market was down. Pretty damn impressive, if you ask me. Steve says, do you write algo code for Forex? I would like to write code to backtest Forex strategy in TradingView. We do some Forex trading. We don't do a lot of it. We found that some of the best ways to make money have been trading options lately. We've been doing a lot of options trading. We've been doing a lot of leveraged ETF trading, and we do some Forex as well. Although it's, Forex can be hit and miss. I've seen a lot of people. I'd actually like to know, Steve, are you actually making money trading Forex? Have you actually been able to make money doing this stuff? Because most people I speak to in the Forex markets do not make money, right? It's something like 80% of all accounts lose money in Forex. So I'd be very interested to see if you've actually been successful with it over a long time period. Right? Abhi says, where do we get trade ideas for different strategies for algorithms? So Abhi, that's what we do in our class, right? Every Tuesday we meet and we talk about this stuff. Like literally every single week, we sit down, we have a meeting, we say, what do we want to work on today? And everyone comes up with different ideas, right? And that's what we end up building, right? Sometimes I'll have an idea and I'll bring it. Sometimes other people have different ideas. We have ideas on stocks. We have ideas sometimes on Forex as well. We have ideas on options, a lot of really interesting option strategies we've been coming up with lately. And basically, whenever someone has that, we'll do a vote and we kind of build whatever the group votes on. All right. So this is one of those things we made, right? And actually, all of these were all part of class, right? All of these we came up with within our Tuesday class. Now, let me show you one more, right? So here's another strategy. And I was hoping to actually add another one. I didn't have a chance to add it in. We came up with one really interesting one lately that more recently that was making like 250% a year. It was absolutely astronomical. It's like crazy. I'm gonna actually start running that strategy soon because I'm very, very fascinated with how it's going to turn out. So Steve says inconsistent manual trading, but successful with bots. That sounds very cool. Yeah, Steve, if you want to come in, we could definitely help you set this sort of stuff up and actually get these algorithms running. And especially when you're using different types of code, we can actually get a lot of that going. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that you're actually making money using some algorithms. That's fantastic. Okay, so here's another example of a strategy. Here's an options-based strategy. What this one does is it does a straddle. Okay? So if you guys don't know what a straddle is basically you're selling a call and you're selling a put at the same time. If you ever listen to people that like really make a lot of money trading options, most of them will tell you sell options. That's kind of the way to make money. So that's what this does. So it sells a call, sells a put. So in other words, it's able to make money in both directions. It doesn't matter if the stock market's going up or going down. It's as long as volatility is doing the right thing. So here you could see that this strategy is actually quite consistent, right? You can see here, it's not really moving too crazy. It's heading really just in one direction, right? There's this one big drop that happened here, but what's interesting is that it dropped when the stock market was up, right? So it's actually uncorrelated to the stock market, which makes it a really good thing to add to a portfolio. But basically here you can see from 2020 up until about 2024, up until about now, so 4 years, did 245% over that time period, or about 25% a year. Really high Sharpe ratio, a little bit higher max drawdown, so there's definitely a bit more risk involved, but this thing just killed it. Made a huge return. This thing, again, almost 10 times the return of the stock market over a 4-year period. So this is, if you had put your money into this, you would have more than tripled your money over a 4-year time period. It's pretty damn good, right? I was hoping to show you guys another one. There's another one that we just came up with recently that was just astronomical returns. It's like, again, like 200 something percent a year. I was hoping to show you guys today. I didn't get a chance to do it, but next time when we do this class, I will show that off as well, right? But point is, we have a lot of really cool strategies that we came up with, right? When you're building these algo strategies, you don't have to do this on your own, right? We have a whole community of people that are doing this stuff. Everyone's working together on all this stuff. You don't have to be alone. You don't have to go off and build everything from scratch. It's much better. Take code that we already have, work with the community together, and we can all build it together and build this great stuff, right? That's secret number 2. Use existing code and collaborate with others. You'll be able to find a lot of really amazing strategies, and it'll be a lot easier to do that. Working as a team is really important here. Cool, awesome. All right. So secret number 3. Yeah, so last secret. Okay, secret number 3 is use AI tools. All right. Now, let me tell you a story around this, and I think everyone's kind of getting to AI, but being able to use AI properly is very different from just being able to use AI, and it can really save you a lot of work. For me personally, I've been coding for 25 years, and these days when I code, and I put that in quotes, because I don't really code that much anymore, I basically talk to the computer and it writes it for me, right? That's kind of the point that we're getting to, and it's only going to get more and more like that. So using AI tools is extremely important. So let me tell you a little story. Yeah. So I'll tell you a story about one of our students, Latoya, who came to us 10 months ago, maybe even like a year ago now. She came to us a little while ago. And when she came to us, she had zero programming experience. And I mean, like, she's a pharmacist. She barely knew how to use a computer. And well, she knew how to use a computer, but she definitely never like wrote any code or anything like that, right? And she came in and, we basically taught her, this is how you write Python code. This is the beginnings of all that stuff. And then very importantly, we taught her how to use ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot. And holy crap, she got really, really good at this very, very quickly. So basically, when she went through our classes, she started developing this bot where what it does is I think you guys have probably seen this. You've probably seen ads for this and whatever. But like everyone's selling trading signals, right? It's like, get my trading signals and pay some money and you get messages in Discord or whatever, and you can pay $50 a month for that, or some of them are free. And what she wanted to do is she wanted to build a bot that basically copies Discord, right? So you're getting all these different things coming in. Why don't we copy what they're doing? So she started working on that bot. And we got on a phone call one day and I was like, holy crap, how did she build this thing so quickly? It was literally like 2,000 lines of code, very sophisticated. And this is from a person who just learned how to code like 2 months ago. And I was like, how the heck did you get so good so quickly? Ends up, she was just using AI the whole time. She was using ChatGPT, she was using Copilot, she was using all the tips that we gave her, and she got good, very, very good at this very, very quickly. So now she has a bot that could basically trade for her automatically. It can check Discord, automatically look for these signals, and automatically copy them if she wanted to. But also, more important than that, is she's able to now get these signals everyone sent, and she could see, are these people full of crap or not? Right? There's a lot of people out there on the internet that are saying, this is the best trading signal in the world, right? But then when you actually look at it and you follow what they did, they're not very good at all, right? And she was actually able to identify these people, who's really good and who's not, because she was actually able to get all these signals and put them through her database and figure this out, right? So now she has this incredible bot that can do this stuff. Last I heard, she's trading this, making some good money off of it, right? But that's not all that she got out of it, right? She learned how to code. She learned how to use these AI tools. She built this really cool bot. But on top of that, she actually even got a promotion. She got a new job out of this as well. So when she was applying to her position, she put on a resume saying she knows how to code Python. And all of a sudden, she got this brand new job. She got like a huge salary bump. I don't remember the exact figures, but it was a very large amount of salary increase because she went from being a pharmacist to now working in an office and using data to do all that kind of stuff. So she got this really, really big boost in her salary. So not only was she able to build this really cool bot, but she also even got a pay raise as well. So win-win all over the place. Okay. Yeah, and Steve says, it's incredible what AI can do. If you can imagine it, you can figure out how to do it. Yeah, 100%. I definitely agree with you, Steve. I don't know if you've been using ChatGPT to build some of your stuff, but it's wild what it can do. Like one of the problems I think with PineScript is that you're stuck using TradingView's editor. When you do something like Python, you actually get like a coding assistant that works with you, right? Something called ChatGPT or something called GitHub Copilot that actually can really help moving all this stuff too. Yeah. It says this is how I'm learning. Awesome. Very cool, Steve. That's great. Yeah, AI tools are amazing. So let me give you guys a few tips, right? So for those of you that want to use AI to code some stuff, to build some bots and all that, here's a few tips for you. And so tip number one is start with existing code, right? I had a lot of students come to me and they said, I went to ChatGPT and I told it to build something and it didn't build it, right? It was like it came out with like some Frankenstein nonsense, right? I'm like, yeah, well, ChatGPT is not that smart, right? It's not smart enough yet that you can go to it and say, build me a bot that does X, Y, Z. It still really can't figure that out, right? But what it's a lot better at doing is if you gave it an existing piece of code and said, here's some code that does something similar to what you want to do, right? Take this code and modify it. That's going to get you a much better result, right? So for example, Steve, if you're working on this stuff, maybe you could get some code, some PineScript code that already, was doing something similar to what you're looking for. Take that code, give it to ChatGPT and say, first of all, explain this to me. And second of all, modify it and make it do this and this and this instead. You're going to get a much better result from that. Okay. Number two, if you don't understand what the code does, just give it to ChatGPT and it can do it for you. All right. So what you could do is you could copy all that code, put it into ChatGPT and say, explain this code for me. And you can even go a step further. You could say, can you add code comments to this? Which, if you ever coded before, it's kind of like plain text. So it's like, here's code, and then right underneath it or right above it is like a description in plain English what it does. So when you do that and you give it to ChatGPT, you can actually make code very easy to read. You can make it read almost like a book, right? It will put English, it'll put actual descriptions in English what each one of these things is doing. So you can go through the whole flow of the program without even really knowing how to code. So you can actually understand what it's doing. It's a huge, huge help. So what you could do is you could take this code, put it in ChatGPT, tell it A, explain it to me, and B, put code comments in there. That will make your life a heck of a lot easier to do this stuff. All right. Cool. All right, that's number two. Number three, and this one is available if you're using something called VS Code, right? We use VS Code extensively in our classes, right? And mine is VS Code. There's also other AI assistants that are available with other things as well. But basically, what you could do is you can get this thing to write code for you. It's I don't know if I have an example here. So here's for example some code that I'm writing, right? Here's like one bot that I'm building, and I can just go here. I can write in plain English. I'll go. I can say check if we're in a position. Notice this is in gray. I can just hit tab and it wrote that for me, and I'll hit enter, and then now it's writing code for me. I am not writing this. It is writing this automatically. All I'm hitting is tab, and it literally just wrote all this code here for me. Amazing, right? I literally didn't write a single, all I did was put in this one character and it did everything else for me. This is what GitHub Copilot can do. It's incredible. You don't really have to code, to be honest with you. If you don't have it set up, make sure you set up GitHub Copilot. It works with VS Code, and it's a really, really big help. For me personally, I feel like this one thing alone has made me be able to do the job of 3 people. It's crazy how much better you can get just using GitHub Copilot. Right, so that's number 3. Number 4, tip number 4. Now, if you get errors, which you would never and inevitably will get if you're writing code, pretty much everyone that writes code eventually ends up getting some sort of errors. You know, there's that whole saying of like, when you start loading code, when you put a comma in the wrong space, everything breaks, and people find that very frustrating. Well, with ChatGPT and with AI, you don't have to have that anymore. If you have an error with your code, simply copy paste the error and put it into ChatGPT. And ChatGPT will be able to explain that error to you in plain English. This is what it means. A lot of times we'll even be able to fix the code for you. Okay? Now, if that still doesn't help you, if that's still not enough, copy your code, give it your code, and give it your error, and tell it to fix the code. And 99% of the time, it'll actually be able to fix the code or get you into a much, much better position. So if you do get any errors while you're writing your code, copy paste the error, put it into ChatGPT, or copy paste the error and the code itself, give it to ChatGPT, and it can do a very good job for you. All right. Okay, cool. So that's 4 things. Last one is check out our course recordings. You know, we have a lot of great course recordings where I show you guys how to do this stuff. Like I said, every Tuesday we're building algorithms every week, right? If you guys join in, you can actually even see me doing this stuff, and you can see a lot of these little tips. There's a lot of these like little nuances of things on how to do this. So check out our recordings, because there's a lot of really great stuff that that you could use with AI, right? Cool, awesome. Okay, so those are the 3 secrets. So do you guys want to know? So I kind of alluded to this earlier. Do you guys want to know what you would get with our all access plan? So we have a few different plans available with Lumi Wealth, and we have this all access plan that's available that can really get you guys supercharged with this stuff. We have a whole plan of everything to do this. Would you guys like to see what's available on this? Yes. Okay. Cool, awesome. Okay, so here's what you're gonna get with our all access plan. So if you guys decide to join us, you want to go all the way, and you want to build some really cool stuff with us and be part of our community and get all of our code and all that kind of stuff, this is what you'll get access to. And I'll break this down even further later on, right? So first of all, you're gonna get access to our Algo Trading course, which is a course that basically teaches you how to build trading algorithms from scratch. You're also going to get our AI for trading course, which will teach you how to use machine learning and artificial intelligence to basically supercharge your algorithms. We have a whole course on that. We have a class on options trading. So if you want to use code to trade stock options, we have an entire class just on that, on how to get that moving. Then we have a crypto trading course as well that is very specific on crypto. So if that's what you guys are into, we have an entire class just on that. How do you use this stuff with crypto trading? And we also have a blockchain development course, which will teach you how to build stuff for the blockchain. And we have a Web3 development course as well, which is kind of along the same lines. So if you want to get into Web3 and you want to get into blockchain development, we have that too. Part of this, you also get access to our live algo hour, which is this really special class that I keep telling you about every Tuesday. I'll put in here, this is our Tuesday class, which is amazing. We're constantly innovating new stuff every Tuesday. You also get our one-on-one support. So you get a lot of help with this stuff. You get trading signals where we actually run our algorithms live. And for example, here you can see our trading signals, right? Where basically you could watch each one of our algorithms, how are they performing? Here's one, for example, that's doing quite well. It's our top ETF picker, right? This one's been performing quite well. Since December 1st, it's made 15%, right? So that's, a month and a half or so, 15% return. That's pretty damn good if you ask me. Um, you know, if you're assuming it did that all year round, it's going to be making a crap load of money every year, in only a month and a half. And then we also have something called weekly office hours. We can actually join in and we help you out with any of these things that you're stuck on, where we give you a lot of attention. If you're stuck building something, you need some help coding something, or really whatever it is that you want, you're going to get access to that through our weekly office hours. Right? Cool. He says yes. Okay, so in other words, what you're going to get is you're going to be able to analyze your own investments using data. You'll be able to build trading algorithms that automatically place trades for you. You'll be able to get an in-depth understanding of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. You'll be able to learn the fundamentals of artificial intelligence, AI, and how to apply it to investing, and you're going to get a lot more out of it. By the end of it, you're going to get really, really good at building algorithms. You're going to get all this code given to you, and you're going to have a lot of great stuff that you can build and have access to, right? And almost as important as what you'll be able to do is what you'll be able to get rid of. And number one on that list is expensive mistakes that could cost you your life savings or worse, right? A lot of people, when they get into trading, they will do some very silly things, right? They'll take on way too much leverage. They will get into strategies that they didn't back test. They'll get into things that are very clearly not a good idea. When you go through our courses, we can actually help you avoid a lot of those mistakes. So that way you're not blowing up your entire portfolio. You're able to get through this and have a much higher likelihood of success on the other side, right? Number two, it will also help you avoid searching YouTube for days, trying to figure out how to get started with algo trading, right? There's a lot of YouTube videos out there on this stuff, but trying to piece all that together, one person's telling you one thing, another person's telling you another one. We have everything in one spot. We make it much easier to do this. We have a lot of things to help you out with all this. So we can really accelerate your learning very quickly instead of going through YouTube and spending time on that all day long, right? And number three, and this is a very important one, is we can help you avoid getting scammed by other people that are selling you fake trading strategies, right? So there's a lot of people out there that will say, give me your money and I'll put into, like, for example, my brother-in-law, we just found out that this happened to him and it's really sucks. I don't know why he didn't come to us first. We kind of gave him the whole thing, but my brother-in-law, he basically met this like girl online and she said, invest in this MetaTrader thing, right? Buy some MetaTrader stuff and get into this company. He put his money in, and at first it looked like he was doing quite well. He's like, oh, making some good money. So he's like, okay, yeah, I'll give you more. So he give him some more money. He gave him, I think at the end of the day, like $50,000 he gave him in total. This kid has a lot of money saved up for such a young guy. But he gave him all this money. And then he said, okay, well, now I want to take it out. Now he wants to buy a house. And they said, oh, well, if you want to take it out, you have to give us another $6,000 for taxes. And he's like, what are you talking about? What taxes? Like, okay, the IRS is, but they're like, oh, don't talk to the IRS. So in other words, they're basically saying, give us money to give money back. If you search the internet, I actually looked these guys up and found they are a huge scam. I forget the name of the company. I could show you here, but literally person after person after person is saying these guys are a scam. They're going to take your money, all that kind of stuff. We actually did the research and we found out these guys are just pure scammers. There's no chance he's ever seeing his money again, right? This is crazy, right? $50,000 of his hard work money disappeared, right? Now, I don't want that to happen to any of you guys, right? There's a lot of scammers out there, especially when it comes to like MetaTrader type stuff. There's a lot of scams out there around that. Please be careful. Please do your research if you're going to do that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of scammers around crypto. There's a lot of bad crypto exchanges. There's a lot of good ones too, but there's also a lot of scammers, right? And it's hard to tell the difference sometimes. So what we can do when you go through this program is we can actually help you avoid that because we are not going to take your money. I don't want your money. We're not an investment fund. We're putting together a hedge fund. That's a separate thing. But that's like if you have a $250,000, then we'll talk, right? But what we're doing is we're giving you our algorithms that you could use yourself, right? Instead of you giving your money to someone else, so you don't know where the heck it's going to go, you can put your money into a broker that you trust, that is registered in the United States, that is licensed and has all the proper credentials, and you could leave your money there and use these algorithms on that broker. So your money is safe, you're not going to get scammed, and you can actually run these algorithms yourself instead of relying on someone else. I don't want your money. You could pay me for our courses and I could teach you how to do this stuff and give you code, but I do not want your investment dollars, right? That is a completely separate thing. We're putting together, like I said, we're putting together a fund for that. And if you have, a $250,000 or $1 million to give us, we can do that for you. But as this program stands, we're not going to be taking money. We're going to be showing you how to do this, and you're going to be able to do this yourself, right? So you're learning a new skill, and you're not going to get scammed because this money is being left in a brokerage account that you control that is under US jurisdiction, and you can put it wherever the heck you want, right? I think that's a very important point. Okay. This will also save you a lot of time and money, right? So give you an idea of what it took for me to build this out. Is basically I've been building this, we'll say for almost 4.5 years now, by the way, and over $100,000 creating this technology that we built, something called LumiBot, where we can use Python code to invest into a bunch of different assets, connects to a bunch of different brokers. I spent over 4 years developing this thing, and I spent a lot of money on hiring different developers to help out. We've built a whole open source community around this. You're going to get that technology as part of this program, right? You're also going to get, or at least what I've spent on building out our algorithmic trading course is literally hundreds of hours. I literally spent hundreds of hours making our algorithmic trading course and refining it and improving it. We've been doing this for years now. Our algo trading course is airtight. This thing is a fantastic course where we teach you basically how to go from scratch all the way up to how to build your own algorithm and how to deploy this thing and how to run it and how to improve on it. We will teach you how to do that. And because I spent literally hundreds of hours building this thing out, right? We also spent literally over 1,000 hours between myself and others creating the rest of the classes. Like I said, we have our AI for trading class, we have our blockchain class, we have all these other things, literally over 1,000 hours spent developing all these different classes that you can get as part of this program. We also spent over 1,000 hours creating and testing all these different algorithms. Like I mentioned, I showed you a couple of algorithms. Those are only like 3 or 4. We have like 100 algorithms. We've been building this stuff over a very long time. We've literally spent over 1,000 hours building out all these different algorithms that you guys can access in fractions of a second. You know what I mean? Like you guys, all you gotta do is click buttons once you join our thing. It's very easy for you to access, and you can get all that much, much easier. You don't have to spend those thousands of hours. Right. And then also hundreds of thousands of dollars building out our community. We have a fantastic community. When you go into here, this is our Discord, very, very active. For example, you go into here, you want to join other people that are doing this stuff. You can actually meet other people that are also building these types of algorithms, and you can collaborate together on how to build this stuff. We have a fantastic community. We spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars building this, getting people into it, and you guys can get that as part of our program. All right. Or to say it a different way, so at this point you might have, some thoughts, right? You might have some beliefs, right? So for example, you might say, you have the belief, it's going to be very hard and it's going to take a lot of your time, right? And that makes sense because you're thinking, this is we got to write code and maybe you think it's going to take a while to do this. The truth is that we've actually perfected this program to make it really, really easy for beginners. We've literally spent over 4 years making this thing stupid simple, right? I've literally been spending a bunch of time helping people that barely know how to use computers to actually get their algorithms up and running. I'm going to be actually, we're going to make an ad very soon where I'm going to get my mom, who is 70 years old, not computer savvy whatsoever. We're going to videotape her going through these classes and actually building her own bot. And we're going to get her to build her own bot within half an hour, right? That's how easy this program has gotten, at least to get started, right? Now, if you're someone who is very computer savvy, well, we'll address that in a second, right? Okay, so you might think it's very hard. The truth is we've made it very, very easy. Another belief you might have is that this is a scam. We're just going to steal your money, right? I hope I addressed that already. But the truth is that we don't touch your money. I don't want it. Don't give me your money. You can pay us for our courses, but your actual investment dollars, they go to a brokerage. You control that. You do whatever the heck you want with that. I am not going to take that money from you, right? So this is definitely not in any ways possible to do that sort of scam thing because I'm not even going to have your money to begin with, right? Another belief you might have is you might say you're not very computer savvy and you won't be able to do this. Well, again, the truth is that we've taught thousands of people how to do this. Literally, we have lots of people that are in retirement in their 60s, 70s, even 80s. We've helped some people out, and actually, they've built out their own algorithms and ran them themselves. If these guys can do it, believe me, you can. Like literally, I remember one person joined us. It took us 2 hours to get his Zoom running. Like literally, he didn't know how to use Zoom. You guys are all on Zoom, so you guys are all here. He wasn't even able to get on Zoom, and we got an algo running for him. Right? If we could do it for him, we could do it for anybody. Right? So on the other side, you might be saying, okay, I'm a coder, right? So for example, Steve, you might be saying, I'm a coder. I know how to do this stuff. This is gonna be too easy. This seems too simple. Well, the truth is that we're actually one of the most advanced programs in the world for algorithmic trading. If you go out and search, we're actually one of the top companies in the world that's building this stuff out. We've helped a lot of people build some very advanced stuff. We have some very, very advanced algorithms, everything from using machine learning to options algorithms to doing some very, very fancy stuff. So if you're someone who actually is a coder and knows how to do this stuff, we can take you to the next level. We can get you to be go from A to A plus to go through the roof and become an all-star, right? That's what we're able to do, right? We have a lot of different code available for you. We have a lot of different programs for you to watch. We have a lot of different instructors, a whole community behind this that can really take you to the next level. You also might have the belief that this is going to be very expensive, right? You might say this is going to cost a bunch of money. Hey, well, it's not free. You know, if you want to join our programs, it will cost you some money, right? But it's going to be way more expensive to mess up your investments, right? So think about, you know, for example, for me, when I was first starting off, I could have saved myself that 30 grand, right? I lost all that money in 2008. If I had been following something like this in 2008, I would have never lost that money, right? I would have had a $30,000 more. And not only that, but in knowing how to do this stuff, if I had been investing in this way back then I would have had a heck of a lot more money now because of that, right? It's not just that $30,000. We would have had quite a bit more, right? So if you think about what's expensive, it's a heck of a lot more expensive to screw up your investments, to lose a bunch of money, and even more importantly, to miss out on all those gains that you could be getting in the future. Yeah. So that is really what is expensive. Yeah. And then you might also have a belief. You might say, I'm new to investing and you want to develop your strategy first. You know, some of you guys said here, you're brand new to investing. You just started trading, right? And a lot of people say, you know, oh, well, I want to learn how to do this a bit myself first. I'll mess around. The truth is that a lot of people, when they first get started with trading, they end up making some very silly mistakes and end up blowing up their accounts or worse. Um, you know, what we can do is we can actually help you avoid all of those mistakes, right? So if you're brand new to trading, starting off on the right foot by using data and analytics to help you out is going to help you a lot in the future. We're going to help you avoid those mistakes. We're going to make sure you start off on the right foot. All right. Okay, cool. So that being said, I've been talking a lot. Would you guys like to hear from some of our students instead? Right? Instead of hearing it from me, you know, you could hear it from some of our students. Would you guys prefer to hear that? Would you guys like to hear that? Awesome. Okay, great. So before I jump into this, I want to show you that we have I'm going to show you two testimonials. I'm going to show you two case studies. And I see here, yes, please, Antonio. Awesome. I'm going to share with you this website. This is on our website. We're actually recording a few more right now. We're getting a few more people to add to this, but we have a whole page full of this stuff. If you want to listen to people that have taken our courses in the past, you can literally scroll through here and watch a bunch of different videos. Here's Latoya. I'm going to play you a bit of her video today. You know, you could also, a game took our courses back in the day. This is one of the bots that he built, for example. Renee took our classes back in the day. Santayan took our classes. You could watch all these different videos and everyone kind of explaining what their results were from it, how they found the program. So feel free to go to this website. You could actually watch a lot of these videos and see what other people thought as well. Right. So not just coming from me. But while we're here, let me play for you two videos. I'm going to play, to be respectful of your time, I'm only going to play the first like 2 minutes of it. But I'm going to play you one video by Sentayan, who came to us and he was a really good programmer. And I'm going to play you Latoya, who didn't know how to code at all when she first came to us. I'm going to show you both perspectives, right? So here's one of our students, Sentayan. He's also in our community. If you want to actually talk to him, he's quite active. This guy, he's a programmer, and we taught him basically how to be an algo trader. And last time I spoke to him, he was making something like 400% a year. He was making these crazy returns. I asked him, like, how the heck did you do this? He told me is basically he built like a bot that trades off of events and looks for like breakouts. So he built some like really, really cool stuff. Again, he's a very active member of the community. And let me play for you the video that I recorded with him a couple months ago, a couple of years ago, even actually. But let me play this for you so you guys can see from someone else's perspective.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you chose LumiWealth.
So I am a computer science graduate, and I am a software developer currently. I develop automations for my current company that I'm working for. And also I develop full stack applications, web apps and APIs, as well as for my company. What attracted me about LumiWealth was I loved some of their resources available on YouTube, which told me right from the beginning, like what to expect from the classes. And also, I was extremely interested to learn finance and algorithmic trading. I mean, trading from a Wall Street veteran like you, Robert. I mean, you have extensive experience in leading teams into this in a particular branch of finance, and I was completely. I mean, I really wanted to be a part of that as well. I really love that there, during the classes, we'll be going to, perform like 2 live projects, which would give us like real hands-on experience, what we would expect in a real financial world. I mean, weekly 1-hour interactions with you and with the fellow students, I mean, that is always an added advantage that we have. Unlimited discussions and help that I got during my time, especially in the Discord channel that we had, was tremendously valuable to me. And also the opportunity to book, one-on-one time with you if I get stuck. I mean, that is something that is even more valuable, and that tremendously attracted me to LumiWealth. And you don't get that in other courses or any other. I mean, even if you selected a video course, you wouldn't get all these benefits. I mean,
yeah, for sure. There's definitely people who love this, the live nature of things. Thank you for
exactly.
that. I feel like
Okay, so I'm going to pause it there. Like I said, I'm just going to play the first 2 minutes. If you guys want to keep watching this video, I shared with you the slides. Let me share with you the slides again, in case you want to follow along. All right, and feel free to watch this or go to that website that is shared with you, lumiwealth.com/testimonials. You can keep watching his what he thought about the whole program. But in the meantime, let me show you another one. So here's Latoya. I was talking about her earlier in the presentation. She basically came to us, didn't know how to code anything. She's a pharmacist and ended up building this really, really cool trading signal bot and actually ended up getting a job out of this as well. So let me play for you her testimonial here.
Hi, my name is Latoya. I took LumiWealth's live algorithmic trading course, the pre-recorded options trading course, and I'm signed up to take the machine learning and data science course later this week. I'm a pharmacist by training. I have no previous background or experience in coding. As far as finance goes, I was primarily a long-term buy and hold investor until about a year before taking the course, when I began to learn more about options and day trading. I was by no means profitable consistently in my day trades. I found that with my full-time job, there was limited time for me to get enough chart time to get better at trading, since my work hours typically overlapped with market hours for options trading. I started to see advertisements for LumiWealth, and it was really attractive due to the ability to build algorithms to trade without constant input from me, and to be able to take some of the emotions out of trading, which was really changing a lot of my trades. I loved the class. I was intimidated by the fact that I did not have any coding experience and was wondering whether or not I would really be able to go from zero knowledge to creating a bot within that 12-week time frame of the course. But Lumi Wealth guarantees that you will be able to create a bot, or not only do they refund you, but they pay you something like $600. So I was pretty confident about that. I joined some of the free webinars before I signed up for the courses. And I also joined their free Discord community before signing up and booked a call with them to discuss the courses. So I was really impressed by the knowledge base of the instructors during the free webinars and how responsive everyone was when I asked questions during the call, and in the Discord community, they answer questions very quickly in the Discord channels. The courses also have lifetime access. So when there are updates to the course material or when there are updates to LumiBot, which is pretty often, you continue to have access with each new version of the course. So all of that combined.
All right, so I'll stop it there. Like I said, around 2 minutes. So what do you guys think? I feel like they both got a lot of value out of this course. But that's kind of the typical story, right? If you check out our testimonials, you'll listen to a bunch of these different people, everyone from all sorts of different backgrounds, ended up building some great bots and benefiting a lot from all of our technology and our community and our courses and all that, right? So kind of to reiterate, who is this for? Who would we build this for? So we built this for, people who have never coded in their lives. So if you've never coded before, this is for you. Like I said, we've made this very, very simple. So you really don't even have to know how to code at all, right? We make this really easy point and click type of stuff. You can just use existing code that we have, right? You just have to learn how to run it. That's it. But this is also for professional programmers. So if you've been coding for a while, we actually have a lot of really advanced stuff for you too. They can actually use this to build out and create some really, really amazing stuff. This is also for those people that have a lot of money to invest. Let's say you have like $1 million. We have a bunch of people like that, right? We have some people with quite a bit of money that we're doing this stuff for. But then also it's good for people that are just getting started. If you have, there's been a few people, $200 account, $500 account. I've seen a lot of people like that use this stuff and actually got quite a bit of value out of it as well, right? So there's a whole spectrum. You don't have to be super rich. You can start off with a small account. But if you do have a lot of money, we can help you. You don't have to be a great programmer. But if you are a great programmer, we could really do a lot of stuff for you as well, right? Antonio says, impressive data. Awesome. Thanks, Antonio. Okay, so you guys ready to see the full offer? You want me to tell you about everything that you're going to get from the starter or from the all access plan? Okay, so here it is again, everything that I showed you before, but let me go into more detail, right? So you're going to get all of this as part of our all access plan. So first off, you're going to get access to our algorithmic trading course. Now, what this is it's a 12-week long class that teaches you how to create your own trading algorithms. Very similar to kind of what hedge funds do, like these hedge funds like Renaissance and pretty much all like the big investment funds these days are all using trading algorithms. So we're going to show you kind of the same techniques that they're using and how to build this sort of stuff, right? You're going to learn how to back test and run your own algorithms live. You're going to learn how to create your own algorithms from scratch. And you're also going to learn how to modify algorithms and actually improve on them. And then you're also going to get something like 50 different algorithms that we've built as part of this class. You get a nice big library included as part of this class. Normally, we sell this class for $2,995. But we include that as part of this all access plan as well, right? So if you want to buy this outright, you can click on this link here. You can buy for $3,000, or you could sign up to our all access plan and this will be included as part of it, right? Another thing that you get as part of our all access plan is you're going to get an 8-week class on how to create your own custom AI models. So how to use machine learning and artificial intelligence in your trading, right? So this is an 8-week long class taught by a very smart guy. His name is Greg Tanaka. He's at Stanford right now, but he also went to Berkeley and a bunch of other like Berkeley and Caltech, I think he went to as well. And he actually got, I think, $12 million in funding to build AI for trading. So he really knows his stuff. And he's the guy that teaches this class, right? So you're going to learn directly from him these super advanced techniques. What you're going to get from this is you're going to get the fundamentals of machine learning and AI. You're going to learn the fundamentals of how that stuff works. You're also going to learn how to use this machine learning and AI to analyze stock data and pricing data, right? So you could actually use AI to analyze this price charts and how to actually do that, right? You're also going to learn how to create and use your own large language model. So things like ChatGPT for financial applications. So you'll be able to basically read the news and trade based off the news. You'll be able to, read financial statements and things like that using AI and have that input into things. There's a lot of really interesting stuff that you could do using language for investing. So you got to learn how to do that, right? Normally, this class we sell for $2,995. If you want to buy it separately, you can go ahead and buy it at this link. But it's also included as part of our all access plan as one big bundle. Right? Then you're also going to get our options trading course, which is basically an 8-week long course that will teach you how to use algorithms in Python to trade options. So automatically make these options trades, right? So what you'll learn is you'll learn the fundamentals of options trading, how to use data with this. You'll learn how to back test and trade options algorithms. And then you also get over 10 algorithms that we've made along with our students that actually trade options. So things like how to do credit spreads using algorithms, how to do iron condors, how to do roll and call options is one of the things I showed you, straddles, strangles, all that kind of stuff. You'll be able to automate all of that using code after this class. Again, normally we sell this class for $2,995. If you want to buy, you can click here, or you could get it as part of our all access plan. Okay, so far I told you about 3 classes, right? Each one of them we sell for about $3,000 a pop, right? We sell these things individually. You can go to our website and you can check it out. So three item prop. So essentially it comes out to a total of $8,985 in total so far that you're getting in terms of value in this all access plan, right? So far, if you had to buy these three classes separately, you would have had to pay $8,985. But you're going to get more than that, right? You're also going to get our crypto trading course. So you're going to learn how to make algorithms using with cryptocurrencies, right? So how do you trade things like Bitcoin and Solana and even like these smaller coins? Like how do you build algorithms to do that sort of thing? This class will teach you how to do that, right? So you basically learn how to apply algo trading to cryptocurrencies, and you also get like 15 crypto specific algorithms directly out of it. Normally, this costs about $2,995 to get this class, which you can do buying it here, or you could get it as part of our all access plan. Right. Okay, but you're also going to get more. You're also going to get our blockchain development course. Now, a blockchain development course is an 8-week long class that teaches you how to build decentralized applications, or in other words, dApps, if you guys are with the lingo. Those are things like crypto coins, like NFTs, like lending products, and all sorts of different stuff like that on blockchain. For example, I saw someone building this really cool thing the other day where, NFTs, when they do this like image stuff, I think it's kind of silly, right? But you can make NFTs for things like cars and shoes and that sort of thing. That's basically like, or real estate is actually a very good example of this. Basically, it's kind of like title, right? You can create these really interesting applications and actually build these really interesting businesses out of this. So if you're interested in cryptocurrencies, you want to get really good at this stuff, this is a great course for you, right? So it will teach you the fundamentals of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. It will teach you how to use Solidity, which is the programming language for Ethereum. And we'll teach you how to do that. In this class, it normally costs $2,995, but we're going to include that as part of this all access plan as well. Right. Then we're also going to include one more course. We're also going to include our Web3 development course, which basically builds on the last one, right? So if you really care about building these decentralized applications, this will teach you how to build a website out of it, right? The last course will teach you how to do like the back end side of it. This will teach you how to build a website where they can actually sell and get things out of it, like things like exchanges or decentralized websites. There's games you can build with it. So you'll learn how to do that too. So out of this, you're going to learn how to integrate these decentralized applications into websites. You'll learn how to create interactive websites using React.js, and you'll learn how to use React.js in conjunction with Solidity. So we'll teach you how to do all that stuff. Normally, this costs, again, $2,995, but we're going to include that as part of the all access plan. Right. So in total, so far, I've said these 6 different classes: the algo trading class, AI for trading, options trading, crypto for algorithms, blockchain, and Web3 development. All of those classes individually cost $2,995. So if you were to buy them all separately, you'd have to pay $17,970. That's quite a bit of money that you'd have to pay outright for all of them, right? But we're going to include that as part of this all access plan, right? But you're going to get more. You're also going to get access to this really cool class I keep telling you about, which is our live Algo Hour course. So basically, every Tuesday we meet and we create brand new algorithms every week. We're constantly innovating, constantly creating new stuff. If you have an algorithm that you want to build, you can actually join in and we can build that for you during this class. Or you could just sit there and watch other people's algorithms get built, and you can get all this knowledge of the best algorithms that are out there. You get to see us back test it, and then you can actually take this code and run it yourself, right? So a lot of really good value coming from this class. What you're going to get from this class, you're going to have, you can ask the instructor, which is myself, to build an algorithm for you, right? You can watch other algorithms get created live, right? Which is a huge opportunity to learn from really some top trading strategies. And you're going to get over 40 different algorithms. I say 30 here, is over 40 different algorithms now, and we're adding every single week, we're adding a new algorithm. So you're going to have all these things that you can use and just right out of the box, run this trading strategy and do whatever you want to do with it, right? Normally we charge $249 a month, right? And if you want to get it, you can click here and you can buy the live Algo Hour by itself, right? But we also include that as part of our all access plan as well, right? Then you're also going to get a lot of one-on-one support. So let's say if you're going through this and you're stuck somewhere and you're like, oh, I need some help with doing this. I don't know how to get into this, whatever it is you're stuck on, or whatever it is that you want to get help with. We'll even actually write code for you during these one-on-one sessions. And normally what it would cost to get one-on-one support from us is we usually bill $200 an hour. If you want my time, I charge $200 an hour, or anyone else that actually works with us, we charge $200 an hour. So if you want to do that separately, it'd cost you $400 a month, right? But if you do it through all access plan, you get it as part of the bundle, and it all comes included as part of the all access plan, right? So instead of paying $200 a month, you get it included. So far, like I said, we have those 6 different courses, $2,995 each. We have live Algo Hour, which is $249 a month. We have one-on-one calls that you get $400 a month. So if you want to buy this separately outside of our all access plan, you would have to pay $17,970 plus $649 a month for this if you want to buy this separately. Okay. Now you're also going to get more. You're also going to get access to our trading signals. So I showed you this earlier. Basically, we run all of the algorithms, all of our best algorithms. We run and we have them automatically send stuff into Discord. So you could watch our algorithms live as they're going through this stuff. You get to see all the notifications of whenever they're trading, what they're up to, and you could follow them and see exactly what's happening with them. Now, normally we charge $49 a month for this. But if you sign up for all access plan, you're going to get everything included as well, right? So here is basically some screenshots of it. This is kind of what it looks like, right? And we're constantly just adding in new algorithms, right? Okay. And get those trading signals. And you're also going to get one more thing as well. You're also going to get our weekly office hours, which is every week you get a 2-hour time slot where basically we can help you with anything that you need help with. We do this every Thursday. And if you need any help with this, so let's say you're stuck on some sort of code, you don't know how to get past it, or let's say you're building some new strategy and you want to get some help with it, you can get all of that 2 hours every single week as part of our all access plan. And as I mentioned, we usually charge $200 an hour. So 2 hours times 4 weeks a month times $200 is about $1,600 a month. You'd have to pay for this individually, right? However, we keep this included as part of this all access plan. So if you bought everything separately, the all access plan would cost you $17,970 plus $2,200 a month, or you could just get our starter plan, or you could get our all access plan, right? So instead of paying this all individually, if you paid individually, it'd be almost $18,000 and $2,300 a month. We can now give it to you as a bundle inside of our all access plan. Okay. So what do you guys think it costs, right? What do you think we charge for this all access plan? You know, given this, that if you bought everything individually, it'd be about $18,000 and like 2,300 bucks a month. How much do you think we charge for our all access plan? So I want you to think about that. Let me know what you think. But before we get to that, do you want to get your coupon code? I promised you guys a coupon code at the beginning of this class. If I told you if you stuck around to the end, I'll get you a coupon code. Would you like to have your coupon code? Ellie says 7,500 bucks is what you think this is going to cost. Okay, cool. Thank you. It's a good guess. I'll show you what it costs in a second. All right. Okay. So first though, let me get your coupon code. Antonio thinks it's 5K. Awesome. Good guesses, guys. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Okay, so here's your coupon code. So this is valid until tomorrow. If you guys use this code, all you have to do is at the checkout, when you're checking out, there's a little thing that pops up. It says apply coupon code, stick that in there. This thing will save you 20%, right? So, but it's only valid until tomorrow. I've set this thing up that by tomorrow at midnight, Eastern time, this code goes dead. So if you want to save yourself 20% off, then sign up for this thing by tomorrow and you can get yourself an extra 20% off of all of our programs. All right. Okay, cool. So I've sent that over to you, right? Okay, so now do you guys want to know how much it costs? Right, you guys made some guesses. One of you guessed 7,500 bucks, another one guessed 5K. Steve's guessing 2,995. Good guess. It's what we charge for all the rest of our courses. It's actually a lot cheaper than that. So what we charge for our all access plan is we charge $599 per month, right? So only $600 a month. You can sign up and cancel anytime that you want. Let's say you sign up for it, you decide it's not for you, you don't have to stick by it, right? You do not have any obligations, but a lot of people do stick on board for a long time because we do provide a lot of value. And on top of that, it's not only is it $599 a month, but you also get an extra 20% off. So I gave you that 20% off coupon. So if you sign up by tomorrow, you can knock an extra 20% off of this. And not just the first month, but every single month. Yeah. So if you want to sign up for it, here's a link, right? You can go into here. I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to share this with you guys in the chat. So you basically go to this page. You can read up about the whole all access plan on the page. There's all the different things I talked about here today in a nice visual representation, right? And then when you go through down here, this is all the different things that we're including. And what you do is you go down here and you click on this button, add to cart right down here. And when you do add that to your cart, like I said, you can put in your coupon code and you can save yourself an extra 20% off, right? Or if you want to save yourself even more money, what you could do is you could sign up to our annual plan, right? So if you would prefer to pay this all up front, if you want to get it for a full year, what you do is you basically go to the same link. It's a little further down, right? Is down here is our annual plan. And the whole thing goes for $4,995 for the whole year, which is, if you do the math, 5,995 times 12 months, would come out to, what is that, like 7,200 bucks, right? So instead of 7,200 bucks paying, you can pay the whole month or the whole year up front, and you save yourself a ton of money. So this is another way for you to save. And again, you also have that 20% off coupon code, so it's actually a lot less than that. So you can knock 20% off of that. So about 4K for the entire year if you want to pay up front, right? So there's that link, lumenwealth.com all access plan, or you can just go straight from our homepage and get that there. All right. Okay, cool. So so to kind of bring this back to this, it's what if you had to do this on your own? What would it take if you had to do this and you're like, screw you, we don't want to do your course, I don't want to do any of this stuff. What would you have to do if you did this manually, if you did this on your own? Well, first of all, you'd probably have to spend something like 500 hours learning how to code algorithms, right? It's not an easy thing to do. Learning how to code an algorithm can be quite complex. So you have to really spend a lot of time how to do this, go around on YouTube, figure out all this stuff. Instead, we could really cut that down for you, just give you the code or really shortcut a lot of things for you. If you want to build the algorithms yourself or you want to hire someone else to build them, Usually an algorithm developer costs them like $150 an hour. If you want to find someone on Upwork, you can find them for about 150 bucks an hour. And it's usually about 20 hours of work to build the typical algorithm, which means you're paying something like $3,000 to create an algorithm, to have someone create it for you, right? And that's assuming that they're actually going to do a good job, right? Because for 150 bucks, they're not even the best out there, right? We charge actually more than that, and there's even people that charge more than that. Assuming they even do a good algorithm for you, right? And that's not even just saying that they need to do a good job on it. It's that they might even build something that doesn't make any sense. You might tell them to build this algorithm and you end up back testing and you're like, oh, this is crap, right? We have actually literally over 100 different algorithms that we've tried out, back tested, that you could just grab directly, right? So instead of paying $3,000 an algorithm to maybe get something that works or not, we have over 100 different algorithms that you guys can get to use right out of the box. It's a huge value. I have here 50 algorithms. If you go 50 times $3,000, it's like $150,000 value if you think about it, right? And we actually have even more than 50. 50 is an old number. We've actually have even more than that now, right? And on top of that, if you had to do so on your own, you're going to be making mistakes, and those mistakes could cost you literally thousands of dollars. All right. So here we have a program, $5.99, and then 20% off of that if you sign up. It's only $5.99 as compared to, spending, tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to do this on your own, right? So just a comparison there, right? And if that's not enough, we also have a guarantee. If for whatever reason you don't like it, you sign up, you're like, I hate this stuff, or it's not for me, or whatever, right? This like never happens. No one ever really wants this. But that's why I have no problem giving it out, to be honest with you. But for whatever reason you're not happy with the program, we'll give you a 30-day full refund, no questions asked. I'm not even going to tell it, like, if you want a refund, we'll just give it to you. It doesn't really matter what the reason is, right? Yeah. So that's a guarantee I can give to you, because no one really asks for their money back. So because most people are very happy going through this. So I really don't mind doing that at all. But just in case, to put your mind at ease, right? Okay, cool. So that's pretty much it. I have we'll say this is a fake. I wish this thing actually animated. So we have about 24 hours that this coupon code is going to go for. So you have until tomorrow at midnight to save this 20%. You can use this coupon code here at checkout, right? It's RW or RFRWMA. If you put that in at checkout by tomorrow at midnight, you'll save yourself 20% off any of our classes, right? That goes for All Access Plan or any of the other ones as well. And if you would like to purchase this course, it is down here in this link. You can go to All Access Plan and you can purchase it there, right? Awesome, cool. So any questions, guys, before we finish up for today? I see Antonio here says, I need to get a loan. Get back to you, bro. Thanks for all the data. Very useful information. Yeah, no problem, Antonio. Thank you very much for attending. It's great. Any other questions, guys? Feel free to turn on your microphones too. You don't have to type it out. You can turn on your mics if you want, if that's easier for you. You guys have any questions for me?
Yeah, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, Tim.
Just wanted to find out, like, if I wanted a family member, an immediate family member, to do this with me, is that possible for us to have the same login or whatever?
Yeah, we don't charge extra for additional family members. So if you and a family member want to join, it'd be the same price as just for you.
Okay, all right. Thank
Cool.
you.
Yeah, no problem. Good question. Yeah, we actually have a bunch of people that do it with their family. We have a lot of like son and father combos. I don't know if that's what you're
That's
planning.
exactly what I was thinking. My son, this is right
Yeah.
up my son's alley. He's an engineer. He just graduated from engineering school. So
Oh, very cool. Awesome. Yeah, we do have a lot of that kind of stuff. So if you were to join, then I could even introduce you to other people that are doing the same thing. So yeah, absolutely. You have to pay for the one, and both of you guys can attend. It's no problem. Very cool. Great question, Tim. Cool. Steve says, thanks, Robert. Great info and great work. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. I hope your algorithms go very well for you. You know, if you want some help with that, feel free to join our classes. We can help you with that algorithm development. It sounds like you're starting to get some success with this, which is awesome. It's great. I always love hearing that. Cool. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, refresh my memory. You have like pre-recorded trainings, right?
Mhm.
That are part of the
Yes.
program. How many
Yeah.
hours or how many modules are there?
Oh, well, there's quite a few. So I was walking through all these classes. So basically it's all these classes here. We have our algo trading course, we have our AI for trading course, options trading course, crypto, our blockchain course, our Web3 course. These are all the different courses that we have. This is a 12-hour long or 12-week long course. So it's 3 hours a week times 12. This one's 3 hours a week times 8, 3 hours a week times 8, 3 hours a week times 8. These are basically all 8 week long courses. And then we also have our live classes that are happening every week. So we have our live algo hour class. We're building new algorithms every week. That's every Tuesday night. And then we have every Thursday night our office hours as well. So you get a lot
So
of
just
the components too.
so just by chance, if somebody did have the resource to or the time to do it all every single week, they would have to invest how many hours in those courses?
So let's say 6 times 8. So at 48 hours plus 4. So something
Okay, so
like,
more than full time.
yeah, it's quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. You know,
All
you
right.
don't have to go through everything, you know, that we have a whole giant library of all these different courses, so you don't have to go through all of them. But
Mhm.
there's definitely a lot of knowledge that you can go through. There's quite a bit.
And those weekly courses, the ones that you said are 10 week or 8 weeks or 12 weeks,
Mhm.
those are pre-recorded so you can do them at your own pace.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm also going to be redoing our algo trading course pretty soon too. With that's going to be like a really like modular kind of new way to do our algo trading course based on all this feedback that we've gotten. So you're going to get that as well. I didn't include that in here yet, but we're revamping our algo trading course very soon too. So you have
Mhm.
access to that as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool, no problem. Awesome, cool. Any other questions, guys? Steve Grant says, thanks, Robert. Great info and great work. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. Okay, awesome. All right. So like I said, this coupon code is valid for another 24 hours. So by tomorrow at midnight, this code goes dead. So if you guys want to save yourself 20% off, make sure you punch that code in by tomorrow at midnight. And I will see you guys in class. If you guys join and sign up, you could join us actually even tomorrow. We have office hours tomorrow, and then you could join us next Tuesday for the class as well. Or you could, just jump in and even tonight get started with building your first algorithm. If you guys signed up, you guys could actually have your first algorithm up and running within the next like 30 minutes, right? So if you guys are that ambitious and you want to get started on this, you're absolutely ready to, you have everything you need to get started there. Okay, great, guys. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, everyone. It's honestly been very nice spending all this time with you guys. I loved all the questions, and you guys all sound like you have these great backgrounds. I hope you guys have a great rest of the night. And if you guys join us in class, welcome on board, and I will see you tomorrow. All right. Have a good night, guys.